Hey everybody, welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Ray Goots, and it's Wrestlewar 91. We're on the road to WrestleMania 7, that is. And the second stop, I guess, is Wrestlewar 91. But before we get into Wrestlewar 91, first of all, Andrew Lee is here. Andrew, how you feeling, bro?
Great. Can't complain, man. As we're leaving. Oh, it's a Vader shirt.
Yeah, Vader time.
Nice.
Vader time, because it was Vader time tonight. I wish there was a shirt that sold his look from this show, but I like that mask that he wore at this show.
Yeah, that's not like the later mask that everyone's more familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like his earlier masks better than the jockstrap mask that he wears at the end. You know?
Yeah.
I think he changed it because the jockstrap match is probably easier for his head to breathe because there's more open space.
Yeah.
I'm actually in my early 20s. I was a mask collector, and I still have a bunch of masks. Oh, I have a Vader mask actually. Let me go get
you do?
it. Yeah, let me go get it. It's really...
I think you wore it once. Andrew Lee going to get his Vader mask, and we talking about all the latest news as soon as he returns. I don't know. He went to go get the Vader mask. We'll be discussing Jade Cargill's defection to WWE. We'll be discussing Brian Pillman.
Right.
You got the mask?
Yeah, I totally forgot. I was this is not in good condition anymore.
Are you still like Vader? This is an audio podcast, so people can't see, but you look like Korean Vader.
Don't you post this on YouTube?
No, because the member, there's a whole thing. Remember, I also was banned from YouTube, so.
Yeah, well, so when I wear the other masks,
I mean, I do post it, but just the audio. I'm sorry.
Okay, if I wear the other masks, because I used to have a whole bunch of masks. If you move around in it for a while, it starts getting really sweaty.
Yeah,
because you can't breathe. So I think in the Vader mask, there's all this open space that really if you're big and sweaty, which Vader is, right? I'm sure the fucking extra hold help him a lot. So I think that's why he changed it.
So I just want to talk about some few things. The big news today, and they made it big news, was that Jade Cargill, it's official. She signed with WWE. They rolled out the red carpet for her. She had an interview on ESPN. She did the Ringer podcast. They had a video of her entering the Performance Center. Triple H tweeted about her. They had photos of her training. She was training with Roxanne Perez, and Triple H was there. You can see him in the corner of one of the pictures. They made this out to be the biggest deal in years. And before we get into what do you think of the media blitz they gave her today?
Well, let's. You want me to read some of what she said?
Yeah, I listened to it, but yeah, read it out. Read it out loud.
Okay,
this from the Ringer, right? Because I listened to the Ringer. It was only 30 minutes.
What Jade Cargill said. Okay. I was actually going. This is Jade Cargill's own words. I was actually going between this company and another company at the same time. So I was going back and forth. But we have an owner, Tony Khan, who's hungry. He owns the Jaguars. I love the fact that he treats us like athletes. He understands.
Oh wait, this is a different day.
I'm sorry. This is Jade Cargill's interview from November 2022. My bad. Let me different article. Let me read a different article. I'm sorry about that. Oh, okay, here it is. Yeah. This is Jade Cargill's own words.
Okay.
He's a phenomenal boss. I can literally hit him up now, and he will probably get back to me in 3 minutes. And he goes, he's so passionate. He loves our company. There's no other place.
Is this about Vince McMahon?
This is Jade Cargill's interview from September 7th, just a couple of weeks ago. She's so corny when she goes.
I love
She's talking about AEW. I love this place. There's no other place I would rather be. But literally 2 weeks later, she's 2-3 weeks later, she's in a different company, WWE. I saw some of the media blitz they gave, and let me tell you, I don't feel good about it. I think it's too much hype. right? It's too much pre-hype. The last time they did this
Sin
was
Cara.
Gable Stevenson. It
And
did
Sin
not.
Cara.
No,
I don't
Gabe. The very last one when they just did Gable
Oh
Stevenson. Yeah.
yeah.
How did that turn out, Ray?
Well, I'll say this. I think Jade Car. I don't think Jade Cargill's a good worker. I think she's better than Gable Stevens.
Yeah, but you know what it is? It's like you're overhyping it, so it's like you're almost setting somebody up to fail. You know?
Yeah, but they are not gonna let her fail. She's gonna get the belt. She's gonna win at WrestleMania. I don't know who she's gonna face, but she's gonna win at WrestleMania. They're gonna give her a year of, even if she stinks, of succeeding or making it feel. And then around Survivor Series 2024, if she's not delivering, they'll bury her. But they're gonna give her a year of because they're not gonna let this fail because they're trying, and they're not gonna let Brian Pillman fail. Oh, by the way, there was a vignette for Brian Pillman Jr. on NXT.
Oh, really? That's
Mm-hmm.
fantastic.
Same day.
I'm really glad they were able to survive.
Sitting down. It's somebody sitting down, and they put on WCW, and then it just cuts off. They're watching WCW Saturday night, and it cuts off.
Oh. Wow, I'm really glad that they survived being over budget last week. You know, WB they were over the budget last week, but don't worry, Vince McMahon Jr. he once again saved his company, and now this week they're no longer over budget anymore.
Well, listen. We got to get rid of some of this dead weight for Brian Pillman Jr., Jade Cargill, and CM Punk. I mean, those three. We could keep Shanky and Dolph Ziggler and Mustafa Ali and the Maximum Male Models, or we can bring in CM Punk, Jade Cargill, and Brian Pillman Jr. I think they made the right choice. What they're doing.
So you're saying you think CM Punk's coming in. When do you think they're coming in? Let's try to make a prediction.
I think CM Punk's going to be their Survivor Series.
Survivor Series. Okay, good call. I think that's fair. That's what November, right? It's November, right?
Yeah. I think Jade Cargill. And here's the deal, but and I also say she's not a good worker. But right now we're watching people who people say aren't good workers on our journey get over as fuck. Would you say that Ultimate Warriors are Slaughter are like the best workers? No. But last week they had a great match. So I think we need to get out of the Dave Meltzer mindset, because the Dave Meltzer mindset is what AEW does. Everyone has like these 5-star matches. Jade Cargill shouldn't be having back and forth Japanese style matches. She should be having Ultimate Warrior matches. And yes, if you try to make Jade Cargill into like the Sasha Banks model, or I'm trying to think of another great female worker. Like if you try to give her like these, she's not going to hold her weight. I don't think she ever will. But if you put her more in the Ultimate Warrior Hulk Hogan model, I think that could succeed.
And she could probably, in that model, have great stories in the ring.
Yes, just like Warrior.
Not all the time, but occasionally she will, like the Ultimate Warrior did. Yeah.
I think the problem is everyone now can, like I said, they go by Dave Meltzer's definition of great wrestling, rather than just not everybody's Daniel Bryan, but that's what makes Daniel Bryan. That's what makes Daniel Bryan and Bret Hart work so well. Bret Hart. So have you ever seen Bret Hart's match with Andre the Giant?
No.
It's fucking great. I'll tell you why it's great. Bret Hart does not try to have a match with Andre that he's going to have with 1-2-3 Kid. He plays to Andre's strengths. Every time he tries something, Andre shrugs him off. Every time he gets like the upper hand, he has to cheat or do something sneaky that Andre doesn't get. And then Andre wins just by sitting on him. And the whole match, and Andre said it was his favorite match, like from like the post WrestleMania 3 era. Every moment in that match plays to Andre's strength, not to Bret Hart's strength. And that's why guys like Andre and Earthquake were still over to us as kids, because you had these workers working to what they're good at, and not like, Andre, you have to wrestle me like we're fucking Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega. You know what I mean? Which I feel like everyone in AEW does, which some people aren't. But at the end of the day, even if Jade Cargill never gets better, and I don't even think she's that good, if she never gets better, they're not going to allow her to fail. They are going to, like they did with Roman, they're going to do that. They decided day one, Roman's the guy, and they didn't give a fuck what we thought. They made him the guy. And I think they're going to do that with her. Because the reason why they want to do that with her is they want everyone that today was not about Jade Cargill. Today was a message to everyone they want in AEW, being like, look what we can do for you if we decide. If you make the jump, look how we can make you a star in like 4 hours.
I think you made a lot of good points, and I agree with a lot of them. And I think the last point you just made, where this is like kind of like WWE sending a message of, look what we could do to the other side of people. I think 100% yes. By the
Yeah.
way, if you are in the wrestling industry and you didn't already know that, here's the thing, I'm assuming they already know that.
They all know that.
Yeah.
But this
is like a friendly reminder. It's a friendly reminder.
They never went this hard in one day. Unlike they had the media cover them. They had, the last time they went this hard was Cody Rhodes, but you can also say, oh, it's WrestleMania. This is just a regular Tuesday, and they made it her day. They just told everyone, stop everything. You have to pay attention to her today.
Like I said, I still think I will be very cautionary about stuff like that, but I'm a cautionary person to begin with. So, but
I think you're gonna
kudos to them. Kudos to Jade. She's getting what she wants. Her giant clitoris is probably like all sorts of swollen today. So,
well, Triple H is divorced, so he's probably like, come here, Jade.
Oh man, she what do you call it? She definitely always had the look. WWE superstar look, always,
Did you hear her say some of the factors? She had 2 interesting quotes. Number one was, what was one of the reasons you left? She said leadership. She said, this place has leadership. It attracts me. And then the other thing she said was how did Cody factor in your decision? She goes, he was in my top 3 reasons and he wasn't number 3. So
wait, she said what?
Cody was in her top 3 reasons for making the jump, and Cody was at number 3.
But can anybody disagree with her on that? Like she really only gave one reason, right? And it's that
everything sounds like it sounds like she didn't say it out, but you can read between the lines. Like, I was in the little leagues and I'm ready now for the big leagues.
Yeah, and I don't think AEW really loses too much either from losing her.
I don't think so. Everyone says they didn't take advantage of her, or they didn't push her right. They did push her right, because when she walked out on TV, nobody knew who the fuck she was. Do you remember the night she showed up? She just walked out with no explanation. She's getting yelled at by Brandy Rhodes. It was a horrible promo. And they gave her an undefeated streak for 2.5 years. So how can you say they did nothing for her? If their push failed, WWE wouldn't be doing what they're doing today. So I don't like Tony Khan, and I think he's a bitch, but you can't argue that they didn't get her over. Look what's happening today.
I was listening to the Voices of Wrestling podcast last week, and they actually, I agree with what they were saying. They were saying AEW did the most that they could do with her, and they had reached their ceiling with her, and this is the right move for everybody. And I said, I think that's great. That's right.
I think
part of the thing is this: AEW cannot. Part of it's because they don't utilize things better, like dark matches. They don't utilize their dark matches better, he said. But part of it's also like, you can't, because they don't have like house shows and shit, they can't give her more development. Mm-hmm. Who can do that? WWE. Right?
And they were making her wrestle these back and forth matches that weren't to her strengths.
Yeah. And she was wrestling these like quick squash matches that aren't really developing anything either.
Yeah.
And she's also wrestling people who are not that skilled. Like, that's not
she really wasn't selling when she would like she didn't really know how to sell. She wasn't.
They were saying this, actually. They were saying like they were looking at the dark matches. Dark matches get listed right after the show, right? You can go on like Cage Match and you can see everything that's listed, all the matches that happen. And they were like, if you look at these dark matches, they're guys who don't need dark matches. They have like 20 years experience on the indies. Why are they doing dark matches? They were like, these should be doing a fucking like a Julia Hart versus like a Serena Deeb dark match, so that people don't see it on TV, but she's working with a veteran and getting the experience in front of a live audience. And
Well, you know what? It's because these Christopher Daniel Ring of Honor matches, they're not to improve the product. They're vanity matches, like how fucking, Chief Jay Strongbow would still wrestle into like the fucking early 80s. It's just for it's their reward as being part of the office. Same thing. Jimmy Jacobs had a match on a dark match on Collision. It's like,
yeah, but
why do you need Jimmy Jacobs to have a match?
I mean, this goes back to Jade's first reason of leadership.
Yeah.
As the leader, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, you should be going like, dude, I have all these people who need more experience and they need to work with vets. And I can't have it on TV because they're gonna be botching on. Jade should have been doing dark matches, dude. She should have been. With
No effect.
with veterans, she should have been doing. She should have been. Jay should have been doing dark matches with like Mercedes. What's her name? Mercedes Martinez. She should have been doing dark matches with Athena. She should have been doing dark matches with Tony Storm, Ruby,
And Tony Khan.
So many veterans that she could be having these dark matches off TV, allowing her to botch 8-minute matches, 10-minute matches, letting her go through the fucking learning how to sell all that shit in front of a live audience. But whatever, it doesn't matter. It's in WWE's court now, and they're gonna do a great job.
And here's the other thing too. And this is I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Jimmy Jacobs or the Chris Daniels of the world or the Frankie Kazarians, but I know they've been around for 20 years, and I know they've done a lot, and they probably have a lot of knowledge to implement on the younger talent. They're not legends. They don't mean anything. And a lot of that's not their fault. The other two companies besides WWE had piss poor leadership, and they didn't know what the fuck they were doing, which is why they wrestled in obscurity. And I'm not being a dick. I would have loved to have seen Jimmy Jacobs in WWE in 2003, 2004, see what he could have done, But he didn't get there. When he was there, he was a producer. So, like, why are you wasting no one cares if this guy has a match. Like, why are you wasting time? You're right. Develop the younger people. More people give a fuck about QT Marshall, sadly, than Jimmy Jacobs, Chris Daniels, and Chris. These guys who are like, they were probably, their heyday was in probably the darkest period American wrestling ever had. So who gives a shit about that? I don't know. Do you agree with me? I don't think anyone gives a shit about Jimmy Jacobs.
No, I'm gonna disagree a little bit. Mm-hmm. I don't mind someone like Jimmy Jacobs or Christopher Daniels having a dark match, as long as it's used for a purpose. Exactly.
It feels like they feel like vanity matches.
Okay, let's take a look at this. All right. Okay. We're just gonna go for I'm just looking at the Dynamite from September 13th, which is about like 2 weeks ago, right? I'm gonna list you the dark matches, okay? You had Aaron Solo and John Morrison, right? Johnny TV versus Brandon Cutler and Colt Cabana. Now, here's the thing. This shouldn't be a dark match, and I'll tell you why it shouldn't be, right? You have John Morrison, Colt Cabana, who are veterans. They don't need to be working against each other. They're not going to learn anything more.
I forgot John Morrison's back.
Yeah. Brandon Cutler, who's also he's been in the Indies for a long time as well, right? So was Aaron Solo. How about you have Aaron Solo and John Morrison versus what's his name? Action Andretti and fucking Lee Moriarty. How about that, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You have Sky Blue. This is another dark match. Sky Blue versus Marina Shafir. Why?
Because he feels like he has to pay these people.
Why isn't Sky Blue fighting Mercedes Martinez in the dark match, or Athena in the dark match, right? Learn something. What is she gonna learn from Marina Shafir? How to cut a bad promo? What is she gonna like? I don't know. But this is what they're talking about. It's like you have these dark matches that kind of don't make any sense,
Dude, the other thing I wanted to bring up is, so last night I fell asleep to this DVD.
Ooh, I have that DVD.
Yeah, and dude, the work rate on some of these matches blows away shit we've seen on AEW, and I'm like, and again, this is where I blame people. People be like, you have to give credit to Dixie Carter and Jeff Jarrett. I don't, because I feel like these guys killed themselves and nobody saw it and nobody remembers it. And I wish instead of doing that fucking pay-per-view deal, like I wish they had found a way to get it on TV, like regular TV, like Dynamite was. Because like these poor guys, dude, some of these matches are next level, even for 22 years ago, bro. And nobody saw them. Nobody talks about them. Nobody remembers them. Dude,
Some people remember some of their matches,
I know, but like not like I feel like more people will remember like Kenny Omega shit. I don't know. Dude,
I mean,
AJ Styles.
I don't give Dixie any credit. I don't know. I don't understand people who do. I don't give her. She was a money mark. I mean, anybody could have filled her role if they, as long as they had a rich dad.
I think Jeff Jarrett,
And
Dixie Carter, they did this for selfish reasons. They didn't do it for but yeah, this is a good DVD if you can find it. Check it out, especially if you like work rate. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, what do you think of the rumor that on Sunday Tony Khan's gonna reveal he bought New Japan?
Wait, there's a rumor that. Can you tell me the rumor again?
The rumor is Tony Khan bought New Japan. He's claiming that a new era will begin in pro wrestling Sunday. And he's going to make an announcement Sunday that will launch a new era in wrestling. And people think that it's that he bought New Japan.
No, I don't. I think that's, to me, that's very far fetched. I think that's very far fetched. I think by new era, he's probably gonna like revamp a whole bunch of stuff. But let's just say he did buy New Japan Pro Wrestling. I think that's gonna be really dumb. You can already see. I was listening to, God, I hate admitting this, but I was listening to Jim Cornette,
No, you can admit it.
and Jim Cornette was saying Tony Khan's not a booker, he's a matchmaker. And he said the difference is this:
Oh yeah, we
matchmaker goes, I would like to see wrestler X wrestler Z, right? And the booker is the one who goes, all right, I'm gonna take your idea of having wrestler X wrestling wrestler Z, and I'm gonna make a storyline of why these two should be wrestling, right? Tony Khan's a matchmaker. He's not a booker. That's why you see so many goddamn tournaments in AEW. If he owns New Japan Pro Wrestling, they're gonna have New Japan right now doesn't even have that many great storylines, but they're gonna have even less because this guy is not a good booker. He's just a matchmaker.
I hope for his sake and for the Japanese wrestling scene's sake he didn't buy it. I can see him. I could see him if he's able to afford it, or if he can get a partner to back him up. I could see him buying it though. I could see him being.
Yeah, I could. No, don't get me wrong. He's filthy rich. I could see
but
him.
I think it would be the biggest mistake he ever made.
You know who would benefit from this?
WWE.
Yeah.
An old
if
Japan.
he buys New Japan Pro Wrestling and he runs it into the ground, which there's a good chance he could, then it's right for the picking for almost anybody.
If he announced on Sunday that he bought New Japan, if I'm All Japan, I would make a deal with WWE.
I wouldn't be surprised if he buys All Japan Pro Wrestling. Because New Japan is successful. It's the number one promotion in Japan. Why would the owner sell it unless it's for a ridiculous amount of money, right?
I think he found that ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, that's why he found it.
I think what happened was 5 years ago, he probably thought instead of starting All Elite, I'll buy New Japan. And he went to them and they were like, give us like $90 billion. So now 5 years later, he met with them. And, hey, remember you said 90 billion? I have 97 billion. And they were like, okay, you can have it then. Shit, we didn't realize you had that much. I found somebody. I feel like that's what happened. I hope I'm wrong.
He bought All Japan Pro Wrestling.
He's not going to buy All Japan
because that tape library is in certain ways more valuable.
He's not.
Why wouldn't he buy All Japan? All Japan's more believable because I don't think it has owners.
Because All Japan's not the shiny toy. That's like saying to a kid, "Oh, this fucking GI Joe has more stuff than Transformer." He wants a Transformer. He doesn't want a GI Joe.
I think because this is why I would think he would buy All Japan Pro Wrestling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number one, it's the tape library, right?
Mm-hmm.
He bought Ring of Honor when it was on its last legs. Really, remember? He bought Ring of Honor when it was at the last legs because he had fond memories of back in the heydays in the early 2000s and he bought it for the tape library. And All Japan is pretty much the same thing. That's the whole King's Road style wrestling, the one that Eddie Kingston like dreams about while he eats cupcakes in the back, right? The Kawatas and the fucking Misawas, the Kobashis, all that shit started there. The fucking Four Pillars. Where do you think they got the Four Pillars from? That's originally from All Japan, the Four Pillars of Heaven. Those four guys, right? And I think All Japan, I don't think it's really owned by anybody. So he could probably buy it and then just owns the fucking tape library. And then he's got all these belts, like the Triple Crown. Whereas in New Japan, it's owned by like the Ukes, I think. I don't know if they want to sell that, but we'll see. I mean, remember, the Ukes also bought Stardom. They added on to their wrestling promotions. Why would they sell it now at this point, But who knows? I could be wrong.
I hear everything you're saying.
Crazy. Yeah.
I hear everything you're saying. Everything you're saying makes total business sense. I don't think he's in the business sense. I think New Japan is the shiny toy. New Japan is the thing that would make his fucking message board friends get an erection. And that's what he's going to buy. If he's going to buy anything, that's what he's going to buy. I think if he can't buy New Japan, he's not buying anything.
Yeah, I think we could also all both be wrong. In the new era is they're going to be starting a catering tournament. And that's probably what it is.
Or he could be announcing that the pay-per-views are all going to be on Max, starting with full game.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's another.
That would be a new era.
Yeah, that would be a new era.
Dude, it's so weird to me. So apparently, like, Max can't figure out how to broadcast live on the app. How the fuck can Peacock do that, but they can't? This is HBO, or it was, at Discovery. They can't figure it out. Yeah. Like, Peacock.
I think the guy who's in charge of Warner Bros. Discovery, I think he's an idiot. The CEO.
Yeah, like, how do you not have that? But even, like, fuck AEW. Like, fuck AEW. Wouldn't it be great to have some... I just heard some noise in the front of my house. I'm just checking the ring camera, guys. Wouldn't it be nice to have like the NFL or fucking the NBA on the Max app? Like, I just like you can't figure out how to do live or live comedy specials. Wouldn't that be great? Like, I know they're not going to sign this guy ever again. Louis C.K. live on the Max app from the fucking buttfuck theater. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's just like you can't figure this out. You're HBO.
That's crazy that they can't figure it out.
That's weird to me. That's fucking weird.
Where did you read that they
how were you able to do it in the 50s?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I wouldn't be surprised if... I don't know. This guy's an idiot.
Maybe they're like...
he sounds like a fucking dummy.
Maybe they're like, we really don't want AEW on this fucking app. What do we say to him? Just say we can't figure it out.
You know what, though? If they got on this app, good for them, though,
I mean, in their defense, Netflix has only done 2 live broadcasts, and one of them crashed. So I don't know how these streaming companies that are worth billions can't do live broadcasts. I don't understand it.
Can't understand anything.
Okay, so
I'll tell you one thing. I can't understand this Wrestlewar 1991. It was pretty good to me.
It was good. There was some great matches. Speaking of New Japan, this New Japan has a presence here. There were some great matches. There were some matches that I was just like, why? But all in all, it was a fun show. I really like Dusty in commentary. I know a lot of people don't. I think he adds a lot to it.
You did not let me... I didn't know he was going to be on commentary, right? Because you didn't mention it. Not that you had to, but let me tell you something. It was a pleasant surprise. It was very good.
People, like Dave Meltzer complained about it when I don't think he said took away from the show. I don't think it took away from the show.
He's a what?
That it took away from the show. I don't think it did.
I don't think he did. I think he was less annoying than Roddy Piper, 100%. Dude, I don't... So this is just me personally. I don't never really want to hear his opinion on it.
All right. Well, I'm talking about his opinion at the time. I don't know what his opinion
because it doesn't, like, his opinion, it just, like... I don't know, it just holds no weight. Like I already disagree with so many of the things he says. Like, Hogan versus Andre at WrestleMania 3 was a negative 4-star match. I'm like, I can't take anything else he says seriously at this point, So anything he says,
he's a negative 4-star human being.
Yeah. I give him negative 10 stars. But anyway, you want to get into WrestleWar 1991?
Let's talk about it. Let's break it down. WrestleWar 91. Phoenix, Arizona, baby. Let me tell you something.
Yeah. Tony Schiavone, he welcomes us to WrestleWar 1991. Tagline, we want you, because they're doing a whole army thing. Because, we're in Desert Storm and WrestleWar. Get it?
Just declared war on us, so yeah.
Yeah, Sergeant Slaughter declared war on WCW, so that's why they want you to join them. It's on February 24th, 1991 in Phoenix, Arizona. 6,800 people are in attendance. On commentary is Jim Ross and yes, Dusty Rhodes, fresh from WWF. In fact, this is why I had to look this up. He had joined the WCW 11 days after his last WWF appearance. So this is pre 90-day no complete clause days, right? You could just show up right afterwards, right? And tell me if this is true or not, because I was just reading. I don't know about you could let me know if I got this correct or this is just wrong rumors. Supposedly, Dusty got an offer to start booking WCW in the fall of 1990. So he
Yeah, I heard
let
that.
so he let Vince McMahon know, and that's why they started jobbing him out because they knew he was leaving.
I heard that. Yeah, because back
Okay.
then you had to give an extended notice. You couldn't just
Yeah. Okay.
you couldn't pull a Jade Cargill.
So that explains why he was getting jobbed the fuck out like constantly.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that. Yeah, I knew that from the Rumble. Yeah, that's why he was losing like a bitch.
Oh, okay. All right. So that makes sense. I think, dude, that's a great move for Dusty, of course.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, because
go
this
to
is not going to make him the booker over there.
yeah, and like he's getting up there in age, less wear and
Mhm.
tear on your body. You're just writing them, and you get a paycheck. So I think it's a great idea. So we're gonna go right into our first match. It is a 6-man championship, basically their version of a trios championship. We got Big Cat. He's going to be Mr. Hughes in a couple of more years. Big Cat with Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker and Lieutenant James Earl Wright, State Patrol, versus the 6-man champions, Junkyard Dog, Wildfire Tommy Rich, and Ricky Morton. They have no fucking belts for this. They just walk out with no titles. I don't think they ever any titles for this. And Junkyard Dog is now completely bald. Do you like his bald look?
Yeah, why not?
He looks terrible. I feel it's so sad watching him age on like
He's
because
aging.
we're watching years in the span of months, right? And it's so sad watching him deteriorate.
I mean, yeah, he's younger than we are right
now.
now. He's in his 30s and he's just falling apart.
Jesus, are you serious?
Yeah,
Dude, he looks terrible, dude.
we're older than him right now.
Yeah, I know, and he looks terrible. Like, guys, don't do drugs. This is terrible. It's really sad. Well, anyway, Junkyard Dog, even though he looks terrible, he does use his finishing move, the thump, on Buddy Lee. But Ricky Morton comes in and makes the cover for some reason, and they win. Even though there's no tag. I guess 6-man rules, there's no tag, right? Because
I don't know. Or they
was the legal man. Junkyard Dog was the legal man. He did the thump, and then Ricky Morton just runs in and covers the guy for the win. There's no tags.
I mean, maybe they just forgot about the rules.
Oh, okay. Because Jim Ross is on commentary, and I didn't hear him flipping out like he usually does on AEW during their 6 matches.
It's okay when Ricky Morton does it.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's not okay when the Young Bucks do it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was like. I was going, Jesus, did Jim Ross forget this? I mean, it is from 1991. I guess.
It's the Jim Cornette rule. When someone from your era does it, it's fine. But when they do it now, they're fucking idiots. When it happens in 1991 with a friend of yours, it's fine. There's no problem with it.
What did you think about this match, Ray?
I didn't care for it. I didn't care.
What do you think about this tag team of State Patrol?
I couldn't stand it. I just think the whole ring, even though I love Junkyard Dog, the whole ring stunk of failure.
Yeah. It was it wasn't the best opening match. It was just whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
All right. Tony Schiavone, he is with the York Foundation, which is my favorite gimmick of this time. I love this gimmick. It's Miss York, Miss Alexandra York. What's her name afterwards? Terry Reynolds, right?
Marlena. Terry Reynolds, Marlena, yeah.
Terry Taylor, former Red Rooster, but he's all fucking dolled up. And they've got the computer with them as well. That's the whole York Foundation. I love it. It's like a valet, a wrestler, and a computer. That's the whole stable. I fucking love that, dude. And Terry Taylor tells us, the computer tells us that the Z-Man has no heart. And the computer also tells us that Z-Man's going to lose in less than 15 minutes. I fucking love this gimmick. I think it's so ridiculous. He's got this computer. The computer is a member of the stable. Like that's the best part about this whole thing. Um, they're gonna have a match later on, but we're gonna go to match number 2. Brad Armstrong versus beautiful Bobby Eaton. They do mention during this match that Brad Armstrong has a brother fighting in Desert Storm. It's who is it?
Oh, it's BG James, baby. Oh,
Yeah,
you
Road
didn't
Dogg.
know?
Right.
Your ass
Road
better
Dogg was
bomb somebody.
while his brothers are wrestling, his Road Dogg will actually be serving in Desert Storm at this time. It's crazy. He's a veteran, yeah. I think I've maybe heard Road Dogg. He doesn't really talk about it a lot.
No, he does on his
about
podcast. He talks about it.
Talks about it a lot.
Not when they ask about it, yeah, he talks about it. He doesn't talk about it. He's not gonna like volunteer, but yeah, on the podcast he's talked about it.
Yeah. I'm surprised they never turned that into a gimmick when he like came to wrestling. Like Junior's like, talk about Desert Storm.
I think they wanted to, and he was like, no.
Oh yeah. He's like, nah, you did enough damage, Junior, right? with the taking advantage of Desert Storm.
It was bad enough you had Sergeant Slaughter shit on me and my battalion. I don't need
it. So can I ask you something about this match this intros? Because during this match, they introduced Bobby Eaton as from the dark side. Why is that? What does that mean?
Because that's why they were called the Midnight Express. They were from the dark side.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I think they were just sticking with that.
Thanks, I didn't know that. Good. When Bobby Eaton was coming out, there was these Bobby chants, and I swear they were like piped in, right?
No one's chanting Bob.
Yeah, no one's in. They were like piped in Bobby chants. And then, Dusty's like it was a pleasant surprise. He's great on commentary, but every once in a while he did say some ridiculous things that made no sense. So in this match, Dusty's talking about Brad Armstrong, and this is, I quote his words. He's been around for as young he is a long time. I don't know. I swear to God, I had to listen to it 5 times. That's exactly what he said. He's been around for as young as he is a long time.
Sometimes, words confuse Dusty, baby.
Yeah. Anyway, Brad Armstrong, Brad Armstrong was really, really unique. He would do these moves where he would like climb up Bobby Eaton's body and stand on his fucking shoulders and then jump off. During this match, they show you that Jason Hervey from Wonder Years is watching. He's back. This guy's back. And Muda's also
They love this guy.
They love this. He's the only celebrity they have,
Yeah. He's their Mr. T.
Can I ask you a question? Did this guy ever explain or go on an interview talking about why he likes WCW but not WWF?
No, I've never heard him talk about. I've never heard Jason Hervey talk about wrestling.
Yeah, because
I've never even heard interview with Jason Hervey talking about anything for that matter.
Yeah, because he doesn't seem to be a wrestling fan, as he seems to be more of a WCW fan. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think so. His mom was a famous agent, like she was a child star agent. Mm-hmm. I would not be surprised if they were being paid to put him on camera.
Oh,
that's what I kind of feel that like the mom. I kind of almost feel like WWE's like, why would we put this guy on camera? And WCW's like, we have literally no one. We'll put him on camera.
And she's like, oh, yeah, he's already a fan of this shit. Might as well get money while he's getting a free fucking ticket.
They constantly are putting him on camera and acting. I never hear about this guy unless it's wrestling related, so it paid off. Because, I mean, he started production company with Eric Bischoff. The only time I ever hear this guy, I've never heard this guy be brought up in, like, 80s podcasts or fucking sitcoms or any. No one even when people talk about the Wonder Years, they didn't even mention this guy. The only time he's mentioned is wrestling, so it paid off.
Yeah, paid off for him. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, Bobby Eaton hits his fucking smooth as silk Alabama Jam top rope leg drop on Brad Armstrong for the win. Ray, tell us your thoughts about this match, number 2.
This match, I had to restart because I fell asleep in the middle of it because it was so boring.
Really? I actually,
these two guys just don't do it for me. I mean, I'll never take away from they're good. They're both great workers. I think they need to be in tag team situations to really get over. I think one-on-one, it's like, who cares? It's like two loaves of bread clashing in the night.
Two loaves of bread clashing in the night is that's a very vivid description. I mean, that's very funny. Um, I I didn't hate it like that. It was okay. I agree. It is kind of like it's not the most exciting match, but there was some fun, interesting stuff. Like when he climbed up the fucking Bobby Eaton's body. You don't see people do that anymore. I think that's pretty cool.
No. There was some stuff, but I just couldn't get into it. It just seemed like two guys wrestling to kill 10 minutes or whatever long this fucking.
No, that's kind of like what it was. Yeah, I think that's very fair.
Mhm.
All right, so after this match, we're gonna get the first of many Super Brawl teasers because they're gonna have Super Brawl in May, and the fucking music they choose with it is like
Very
very
serious.
like prestigious. Was Super Brawl supposed to be like their WrestleMania?
No, I think Starrcade was supposed to be the WrestleMania.
Oh, because the way
I
they
think
had it, and didn't it make it sound
they
like a
had.
big deal?
I don't know. I think I remember like them treating it like a big deal. Ultimately, it didn't become their WrestleMania. By the second one, it wasn't. I definitely think it was supposed to be at least their SummerSlam.
Okay, yeah, all right.
It was supposed to be like I did get the sense that it was supposed to be a destination pay-per-view, but they kind of stopped doing that like after like 3 or 4. They kind of just became another show.
Okay. We're gonna go to match number 3. This is a women's tag team match. Izuki Yamazaki and Mami Kitamura versus um, Miki Honda and Miss A. Now,
Dustin
nobody,
Rhodes, love to say, let me tell you, that's my girl.
yeah. Dusty Rhodes can't pronounce any of these women's names except
Then
for
Jim Ross
Miss
says,
A.
we're not going to say the names right. We apologize in advance.
Yeah. Dusty in the beginning, he does make fun of their fucking names, and then he goes, "I'm only gonna stick with Miss A." And you know what? He picked a good one too, because Miss A is like this. She's like the biggest one there, and she fucking
Yeah.
hits hard as shit. By the way, I don't recognize any one of these ladies except for I think it was Izuki Yamazaki, who used to be a member of the Jumping Bomb Angels,
Mm-hmm.
right? We've seen in WWF. And they say that this is the first time ever you're going to see Japanese women in a tag team match. And I was like, in America, and I was like, but what about WWF? But
Well,
actually,
they always fought against Americans.
exactly. I think what they meant was like
Mm-hmm.
everybody in the ring is a Joshi, and I think that's what they meant, which is fair enough. And I hate to say this, but this was a very very good example of a match where the commentators don't really know anything about the wrestlers, but they do a great job of giving
Yes.
them lots of credit and some background and just using basic logic to talk to them, saying stuff like, just to be put into this position, like this is what Jim Ross said, just to be put into this position where you're chosen to be on a WCW pay per view shows, like, we don't just pick any random women, which I'm
Yeah.
sure they
And then,
did, but the way they said it, like, we don't just, you have to earn your spot here. Just like letting you know that these women are big deals,
you have to earn your spot to go up before Buddy Landell. All right, let me tell you
Yeah,
something.
yeah, exactly.
Um, this was probably one of my favorite matches of the show. I thought it was great. The one of the best parts of watching this match is when the match starts, you can see people being like, why am I watching this? Like, you see people annoyed,
Mhm.
and they're probably like annoyed. Like,
Yes.
is first of all, people didn't. I mean, we didn't really. There really wasn't a lot of women's matches on pay-per-views,
Yes.
and I don't think people wanted to. They don't even know these women. So, but by the end of the match, the crowd is on their fucking feet.
Oh,
They're loving it at the
they
end.
had the audience almost from the get go. You're right.
Yeah,
From
they
the
get
beginning, people are sitting there with their fucking arms crossed.
and they
Like,
look
why
annoyed.
am I watching these four women that I don't know anything about? And as soon as they see the first stiff kick, you can hear people in the audience gasping
Yeah,
because the Miss A, when she kicked, it was like a legit kick, and you hear it, and even Dusty, you hear Dusty go like, "Wow, Miss A," right? Like he was kicking the shit out of these
yeah.
people. They were some hard moves. And you're right. This was a fantastic match. Ultimately, Yamazaki of the Jumping Bomb Angels, she does a victory roll cover on Miss A for a fantastic match. I would actually say to everyone, they should watch this. This is a must-watch match because not only for the match and to see how you can change an audience to your side if they don't know anything about you, but also for the commentary. I really think if you want to if you are trying to become a good commentator, you should study this match because eventually one day in your career you're gonna come into a position where you don't know jack shit about the people in the ring, and you just gotta fucking like rip off the top of your head, you know?
And the thing about this match is like you're not seeing matches like this. You're not going to see them at least until 1996 when Rey Mysterio and Benoit show up in like a working full time. You're not going to see matches like this on pay per view with WCW or even WWE for that matter. And you're certainly not going to see it with the women until like almost 30 years from 30, and like 25 years from now, from when
it's like a match you would see now.
Yeah. And it just goes to show because the crowd was into it. You could have had a Becky Lynch and a Bayley and a Jade Cargill in 1991, 1992, and I'm talking to even the Vince. You just had to train these women to go this hard, and they didn't. And it's like you can get people. I would argue WCW fans are more close-minded to this shit than WWE fans back then, and they had them on their feet. 4 women, everyone in that crowd's probably a racist. 4 women, 4 Asian women had this crowd on their feet. So it could be done if you had trained women in America to work this hard, and it could have been done 30 years before it actually was done. But
I also think the placement in the card is very important too.
Yeah, the first 2 matches were kind of boring, and this woke everybody up.
Yeah. Speaking of women, right after this match, Tony Schiavone, he is with Missy Hyatt, and they talk about how women are really stepping up these days. And Missy Hyatt's like, that's right. We just had a fantastic women match, and I am actually going to be the first woman who's going to go into the locker room. And Tony Schiavone's like, oh, so you could get like a very important interview? And she goes, no, just so that I can look for a babe. And she completely undoes what those Joshi wrestlers just did by sending the women back fucking 4 steps. Way to go, Missy Hyatt. I just thought the placement of that was so funny. We just see this fantastic women's match where they could go toe to toe with the men. And then she's like, oh, I want to do an interview, so I want to find a babe.
I feel like they did that on purpose. I feel like there was someone in power who was like, we're going to show everyone how dumb women actually are.
Yeah,
that match was a fluke. They're not that talented.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they're only looking for some dick.
Yeah. That match didn't mean anything. Fuck them.
All right. Match number 4. We got Nature Boy Buddy Landell versus Dustin Rhodes, the natural. And Dustin Rhodes wins with a bulldog in a good 6-minute match. I think for a 6-minute match, it was pretty good. What did you think?
It was the Dustin Rhodes match we're talking about?
Dustin Rhodes versus Buddy Landell.
So Ric Flair, I guess, was on Kill Tony, and you know what Kill Tony is? Hold on, the breaking news. And he walked off. I think he got annoyed. Let me just watch this.
Wait,
better.
He walks off the stage. Oh, they're booing.
I don't know what you're talking about, actually.
Motherfuckers played that music. It was that was over there.
No, I can't. Yeah, they made Ric Flair walk off.
Who made Ric Flair walk off?
Kill Tony, Tony Hinchcliffe, Luis Gomez, all those guys. You ever heard the Kill Tony show?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Okay, well, you're better off without them. All right, cool.
Exactly.
So
I'm not gonna
let me tell you, I will tell you, I didn't like this match. Probably was more entertaining than Kill Tony. It is Buddy Landell again. I just would be like, Buddy, you're a great worker. Maybe you're a great guy. I don't know. You can wear anything else. You can dress up in an S&M outfit. Don't walk out with the Ric Flair. I don't know. They had to. I think down deep, they wanted Ric Flair to leave. That they kept making this guy walk out in his fucking outfit. You know? I just think it's so fucking stupid. It annoys me. He's your top guy. Now he's also your fucking world champion. And this doofus is walking out dressed like him. So I didn't really like the match. I can't. I just think it is so incredibly fucking dumb, like mind-numbingly dumb, to have this guy walk out dressed like Ric Flair.
Okay. So while I do agree with you that they should at this point be like, buddy, you just like the nature boy gimmick thing is done because you're no longer a challenger to. Originally, when they did this, they were grooming him to face Ric Flair, right? And now, because of his drug habit and he had to go away, now they're worlds apart. And I would have been like, buddy, yeah, it's over. You like, we got to change, we got to refresh things up. However, I will say this: if you watch this match, it's clear that Buddy is really helping Dustin. This is a match for Dustin to get more experience because Dustin's pretty new at this point, right? And if you watch, it's a 6-minute match, but he gets fucking gassed pretty bad. He's like really like tired, and you can see like Buddy's like you know, this match was really for Dustin Rhodes, and he needed to be in there with a veteran and to kind of get more experience. And Buddy Landell at this point in his career, his job is to job, you know, and just try to like give people experience. So in that aspect, I would say it's okay.
I would even argue though, but Buddy Landell's he's even better. He is a great worker. He's better than this gimmick. I mean, it's like if Daniel Bryan started dressing up, like if Daniel Bryan started dressing up like Roman Reigns, and they never acknowledged it, and it's just like you're too good for this. What are you doing? And I listen.
Like
I get it.
He was doing The Rock in TNA.
Yeah.
You're just like, why are you doing The Rock, bro?
Why are you doing it? But it would be even worse if The Rock was in the main event. Rikishi's in like
he's in the same company. Yeah.
It's just I do kind of think because you know he does leave in June. He has issues with Jim Herd right now. I do kind of think though that they knew what they were doing and they were trying to fuck with him to get him to leave.
Yeah. I think this is where, in situations like this is where management has to step up and say, dude, we think you're a talented worker. We would like you here, but you just can't do this nature boy. You just can't do it anymore. It just looks a bad look. And if he goes, no, I want to keep doing it, then you go, then we got a problem.
Be like, call this man and say you want to dress up like Hulk Hogan. See what he says.
Yeah, I wonder if that was the issue that Jim Herd had. Maybe they did bring.
No, they never. Because Ric Flair has gone on about Jim Herd. That wasn't one of the issues, the Buddy Landell thing. But I certainly think that Buddy Landell looked like an idiot, just like Ric Flair, but also like we're supposed to take him seriously. I think they kept that around to kind of prod it.
Maybe.
Hey, I was listening to Ric Flair's podcast, and I think this explains Ric Flair's entire life. So Ric Flair's telling a story. He tells it in a very offhand way, and I'm like, no, this explains everything. In the 80s, he came home to visit his parents, and with the belt, he had the world title. And he goes, hey, Mom, I won the world title like the 4th, 5th time. And she goes, all my friends know who Hogan is. They don't know who you are. What company do you work for again? And that explains Ric Flair.
Oh.
That explains why he's been screaming he's the best since that day he walked out and it was like, I have to tell everybody I'm the best over and over again.
That's man. I actually, it's funny, but it's also sad at the same time because I have a friend who I just recently found out he went to something similar. Like he's very successful.
His friends
know. No, he's very successful, but then his dad, like, instead of being like, I'm proud of you, son, he'll just say some like offhanded comment about like, I bet you're gonna get fired, like some shit like that. And it's like, and it wrecks, even though he won't admit it, it affects his psyche. And it's sad.
Conrad just let it fly, but I would have stopped him and like, that's why you're like this. That's why you're in your 70s.
Yeah. You're trying to prove a point to people who are dead now. Yeah.
Exactly. Who gives a fuck that your mom's friends know? Of course, Hulk Hogan. You didn't have a cartoon You didn't have action figures. You were wrestling Kerry Von Erich in a fucking gym. Like, just anyway. So yeah, I didn't like this match, but let's keep moving.
I thought it was okay. I could see the point of it.
Yeah, I know.
You
I
know
know.
what it
I know
is?
the point is to get Dustin over, and I know
Yeah.
Dustin's very excited about it.
Yeah. This, by the way, Dustin Rhodes, a young Dustin Rhodes, looks like a combination. He looks like the middle stage from Dusty to fucking Cody.
Cody. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if they was like watching a fat guy turn skinny, it was like Dustin Rhodes is the middle guy. So Missy Hyatt, we're back with Missy Hyatt and her fucking antics. She's going to the locker room and she's like looking for a babe. She runs right into fucking Stan Hansen with the fucking tobacco falling out, and he's all mad. She's there, and he's like yelling at her, calling her a heifer, and he's like, "Get out of here!" He's like, "Get your big butt out of here!" And he kicks her out. She's like, he's spitting tobacco juice all over. She's all grossed out. I won't lie, as cheesy as this was, it was an okay comedy segment. It was fun for what, you know?
Typical broads.
Yeah. The fact that like I actually enjoyed his Stan Hansen gimmick. You know, it's just like he sticks out because he's so like gross. He's so disgusting.
I love
and pairing him with her is just like fantastic.
I love the fact that like instead of being like, oh, look at the crowd react to this Japanese women wrestling. Maybe if we treat the women seriously, we can draw money with them. They're just like, look how dumb women are. They just spend the rest of the show beating into your head that they think women are idiots. I just think it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it is. It's a funny. Yeah, it is what it is. It's funny.
Yeah.
Match number 5. It is a tag team match. The Royal Family, Jack Victory and Rip Morgan versus the Smoking Guns.
The Young Pistols.
The Young Pistols, formerly known as, I believe, the
Wild Out Southern Boys.
Oh yeah, the Wild Out Southern Boys. It is Steve Armstrong, the other Armstrong brother, and Tracy Smothers. During the match, the lights go completely out of the entire arena. So they have to put the fucking spotlights onto the ring, like giant spotlights.
Oh, that was so typical WCW, bro.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about
Yes.
There's always one moment on a pay-per-view where WCW just fucks up royally.
Yes, this is that moment right here.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why this is bad. Because remember, the lights go completely out and they put the spotlights in they never stop the match. They just keep wrestling. They put the spotlight on the ring until they can figure out the light problem. So they have these giant spotlights. They had like 2 or 3 on the ring, right? And they're really bright. They're bright enough to light up the ring. And then they turn on all the lights in the arena, like because they finally figured it out. Like it's like, oh, you unplugged it, motherfucker, and they plug it back in, and and it's so bright, you fucking see how many goddamn empty seats there are in the arena. It's terrible. I don't know if you saw it. It's bright.
Yeah, I did see the empty seats. Yeah.
Yeah. This is what I found out. They're at the Arizona Veterans Memorial Coliseum, which is a 14,000 plus seat arena. Remember, they don't even have half. They have 6,800.
Mm-hmm.
So it is very fucking empty. And I was like, ugh, it was a bad look. It just like it was like one of those like when you see like an ugly person in like bright light, you're just like, oh shit. Anyway, the Royal Family, to the team's credit, I will give them that. You know, even with this fucking foobar, they still keep going. The Royal Family, they go for a double vertical, I guess like suplex, but the Armstrong. But what do you call it? Steve Armstrong. He drop kicks them, and Tracy Smothers basically falls on top of Rip Morgan for the victory. Right after this, they show you the replay of the finish, and they show in that replay, they show you fucking the angle is so bad that you see Rip Morgan basically pulling Tracy Smothers on top of him for the fucking cover. I was like, why did you show that replay, dude? What did you think about this match? Match number 5.
I hated it, and I don't blame the Wild Out Southern Boys. I blame the other boys. The Nation of Retardation. What was the name of the team?
Yeah, you got it. The Royal Family. The Royal Family.
The Royal Family. I blame them. Just a bad tag match. The Royal Family was dead on arrival. There was no reason to keep them around. The fucking lights going bad didn't help. Stinker. No. Just a stinker. Another stinker.
It was it wasn't a good match, but I gave him the pass because of the lights going out
Yeah,
situation.
yeah, yeah.
You know?
I just don't think the royal family had it. I mean, I don't think we see them again after this. So
No, the royal family it's a dead gimmick. But it's like the state patrol. It's just like what the fuck are they doing here? But like I said, I did get an automatic disqualification because of the light situation.
mhm.
At least for me. Tony Schiavone, he is with the new Fabulous Freebirds manager, Diamond Dallas Page. And DDP, he's basically doing his best Dusty Rhodes impression.
Mhm.
And he's talking about Theodore Long, and Theodore Long can't match wits with him. And he says the Freebirds are gonna beat Doom, and he's like shitting on Doom and Teddy Long, and Teddy Long just shows up out of nowhere. And he starts yelling at him, and he says the fucking Living Color catchphrase, saying, "Homie, don't play that," and then they leave. What do you think about Diamond Dallas Page being his manager role?
I thought he was fine. You know, I remember when they because wasn't really watching. They were like taking him seriously as a wrestler. It was like the manager, the fucking manager. I thought he was fine as a manager. I really found him believable as a kid. Now I don't because I realize what a big guy he is. It's kind of weird that he's a manager.
He's
I'll
really
tell
fun.
you, who's getting on my last fucking nerves. Why are they letting Teddy Long make "Homie Don't Play That" his catchphrase? They can't market that. They don't own the rights to it. It's from another TV show. And he's just "Homie Don't Play That, Homie Don't Play That, Homie Don't." He's trying to make that his "What You Gonna Do," and it's like, or his "Woo." It's like, dude, you can't say that. Like, you might as well just, what you talk about, Willis? And where's the beef? Like, why? Like, stop going "Homie Don't Play That." It's so fucking annoying because it's like,
Do you
you
remember
can't.
before Homie Don't Play That? He was saying, "You're falling and you can't get up." He was using another
Yeah,
catchphrase.
he's using all these. Yeah, it's like, bro, these can't be your catchphrases. What are you doing? Homie, don't play that. Homie, don't play that. Shut up, bro. Dude, it's so fucking
He's
stupid.
stealing other people's catchphrases. Oh,
Because
I
even if homie,
actually
let's
think
say,
that's really funny if they have a character now who's just stealing everyone else's catchphrases. It would be
yeah,
really funny. If you think
but
about it,
but like it'd be one thing if he was stealing like Ric Flair's like a catchphrase that they own or they can like market. If homie don't play that caught on with WCW, they can't even make any money off it because
no,
Fox,
no, they couldn't. Yeah, absolutely. And
Damon Wayans could sue them.
that's why it's so funny actually,
Yeah.
because it's so like it's so there's a like you all know everybody knows why he's saying it, right? And
Because it's
he,
over and
he
on the
doesn't
show.
even he also doesn't even use it right. Like
No.
like if you watch In Living Color, whenever Homie the Clown said Homie don't play that, it was because somebody requested something stupid for him to
Yeah.
do,
And then he hits
and then
them.
he would hit him on the head and he goes, "Nah, Homie don't play that." Whereas in this case with Teddy Long, he just shouts it at the end. He just
Yeah.
goes, "Dude's gonna beat you." Homie don't play that. That's like
He just doesn't he doesn't even get why it's funny on the show. He just knows that homie don't play it. He just wants to keep saying it.
he just says it at the end. Always. You have to admit there's something very stupidly funny about
No, it is. It's very WCW. Like there's so many things now looking back that like why are you allowing this? Like why? And then like I said this when we watched like Starrcade 85. These people beat themselves. Vince didn't beat them. But like there's just so many moments where you're like these people don't know what they're doing. Nobody here knows what they're doing.
I think that's why I like this pay-per-view so much, is that some of the matches, like the Joshi match, is really good. And then there's so many moments that just make me laugh. Like the Missy Hyatt, Stan Hansen thing, this
The
homie
lights going down.
Yeah, it's just you can't help but just laugh at how stupid some of this stuff is. And it's like at the end of the day, I'm actually getting entertained because I'm watching some good matches and I'm watching some fucking hilarious stuff like the lights going off, coming on, and you're just like, holy shit, look how empty it is.
It makes you realize how well run, even though like they've had some TNA and even AEW are, because like they've never had the number of botches these shows will have.
TNA had a lot of botches too. They're laughable. They're
they
laughable.
have like some bad moments,
laughable.
but even Wrestle House, as bad as it was had good production values.
Yeah. Do you remember in TNA where that referee like takes a phantom bump.
Oh yeah.
See, it's like stuff like this just makes me
Dude,
laugh. Oh,
I'm excited for when we get to TNA. That should be fun to cover.
yeah, yeah. TNA's gonna be really funny. Okay, we're gonna go to match number 6. This is a no disqualification match. It's Terry Taylor representing the York Foundation with Alexandra York and the computer versus Z-Man. And I can't put my finger on it. Z-Man looks like a celebrity. Can't put my finger on who it is, but his face looks like somebody's. But anyways, it doesn't matter. They
He looks
do
like
show
the
you
Tom
when-
Zink. He's the best celebrity ever.
yeah, they do show you Nikita Koloff. He is watching in the arena during this match, and he is there. Dude, let me tell you something. Z-Man, he was really popular. He was over. People were cheering
Yeah.
for him. He had there's this moment where he does like a great super kick, and people fucking really pop for that. He hits a crossbody, but Alexandra York distracts the referee, which allows Terry Taylor to roll him up and win, for Z-Man to lose once again to another member of the York Foundation. Can I ask you a question before you give me your thoughts on this match? Why was WCW so hell-bent on not pushing Z-Man?
When I listened. So the Laughs fan did a transcript of the trial of Vince McMahon, and Tom Zink was one of the key witnesses against Vince McMahon, and he was one of the guys saying that Vince McMahon basically said he kind of came across as a liar and a drug addict and an idiot. The prosecution reveals that he called Linda McMahon and said, "If you rehire me, I won't testify against you." And he was crying like in 19. So the trial was in 94, like 93. And like, why would you call Vince McMahon's home number? And he kind of gave this weird answer. He was a very unreliable witness. And my only get, and Rick Martel really didn't like him. He didn't really like the way he left. So I kind of get the sense that he might have been a Looney Tune in the back, like almost too loony for wrestling. The fact that they allowed him on the stand after he called Lyndon and said, I'll say different shit if you rehire me, is really like, that's kind of, I mean, Vince is a piece of shit, but that's kind of fucking weird and sketchy. Like, you basically ruined the government's case.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I was wondering, because he's got a good look, and the crowd is clearly behind him, and I was like, why is this guy constantly being like jobbed out? I was trying to think that.
And maybe they already knew he was maybe people in WCW, because again, like I don't think they like this man in WWF, but I don't think they wanted. I think it would have been very bad for everybody if Vince McMahon went to jail for the steroids thing. I don't think that would have like helped WCW. I don't think that would have helped anybody. So that maybe they already knew that this guy was going to lie for the government. They were already like, we don't really trust this guy.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that about him, but now that you told me that, I mean, 100% makes sense. Yeah. With that being said, what did you think about this no disqualification match?
It was okay. It wasn't like the greatest. It was better than the last few matches, but it's still like, it didn't, at this point. The only highlight I have on this pay-per-view is the women's match. It's about to change, but I didn't love it. It was okay.
Okay. Now comes probably your favorite.
What did you think? Did you give your thought?
No, it was just like, yeah, I don't really have a, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. It was just whatever it was.
It just happened.
I won't lie to you. I could have used more computer in this match. like I could have used them like him taking a powder and like looking.
Yeah, they didn't really do that like they did at Starrcade.
No, they did it once. They did it just one time. I thought Michael Wall Street did it way better, where he referred,
Also, Michael Wall. I mean, I think now we're realizing Terry Taylor was not that good of a worker. IRS,
yeah, he's all right.
IRS is way better than him.
I think he could have done well with this. Once again, just if he just referred to the computer a little bit better, I think I would have liked it a little more. But yeah, it is what it is.
But see, Mike Rotunda, he really worked the computer into his match, which is made that so much better.
He really worked the computer into the match. You're exactly right. Yeah. Now comes probably your favorite segment of the show. Paulie Dangerously. He comes out in a Mexican outfit with a sombrero and a fucking cape, and he welcomes us to the Danger Zone. by the way, his name is Paulie Dangerously. So Danger Zone is like his interview segment. That's what it is. And he starts shitting on all the Mexicans and saying like, oh, all the illegal immigrants are gonna kick him out, whatever. And then he brings out El Gigante. See, the reason why he's doing all this is because El Gigante is Hispanic, but El Gigante is not Mexican. He's Argentine, and they've mentioned this multiple times on commentary, right?
Mhm.
But Paulie Dangerously, he basically goes over every Mexican stereotype you could think of. And then El Gigante no sells any of it, by the way, because number one, he's not Mexican, but also because he cannot understand English, right? So it
He
just
doesn't know what's going on.
he's got like a smile on his face the whole time. And then Paulie finally throws his sombrero at El Gigante, who finally makes him mad by that. And El Gigante picks up Paulie and he slams him and he puts the fucking sombrero on. So, Ray Goots, what did you think about this segment? Any thoughts?
I hated it. It was so fucking bad. It was so when I saw him walk out in that dumb fucking outfit,
Yes.
fully, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna go in the toilet," and it stayed in the toilet. It was.
Oh yeah, this was terrible. This was the low part of the show.
This is they constantly. This is the thing I don't like about them, especially when I listen to like Arn Anderson talk. They constantly shit on El Gigante, and he's pretty bad worker. But they also put him in situations where he's not gonna do well. You're putting this guy into this situation. Like what? Just he's not meant to be in a promo battle with Paul Heyman. And it's just Paul Heyman's just like a fucking he's wearing that stupid outfit and it's just
and this guy's not even Mexican. So it's
like well, they're doing that because I believe there's a lot of Mexicans in Phoenix, so they're trying to piss them off. Or at least I didn't really see a lot of Mexicans in Phoenix when I was there, but maybe they were hiding. Maybe Paul Heyman chased them out, and maybe the Border Patrol got rid of them that night. But the tag team. But like fucking, it's just like, oh, he's stuck. He couldn't do anything. Well, you're not playing to this fucking guy's strengths if he has any. So yeah, like it's a self-fulfilled prophecy. So I don't know. It's just like you watch this stuff and you're like, how did you expect this guy to succeed like this? How did you expect this guy to like?
This was it was a terrible segment.
It was horrible, and I don't blame El Gigante. I blame the bookers. I even blame. There's not what was he supposed to do? He's so new. What is he supposed to do? I don't know. It stunk. I hate it.
That's true. Yeah. He can't speak English. Like, dude, he can't speak English. Why are you putting him in this? It makes no sense.
You're setting him up to fail. Then you blame him.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, we got Tony Schiavone. He is with Hiro Matsuda and Great Muta, and they talk about WCW is going to Japan in March, and they're going to be working with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Muta looks like he's sleeping during this interview because his eyes closed. And then right when the interview's ending, he fucking does his green mist.
This didn't really.
What?
This didn't really make me that excited for the New Japan crossover show.
Can I ask you about this actually? Because when I looked this up, because I was like, oh, they're going to March, and I looked at this card, and I was like, man, this card is great. I want to watch this. This is not one of the pay-per-views we're reviewing, right?
No, it's not. It's not on the network. You can't really find it. I don't really know if you could really. I think you could have ordered it. It's not on YouTube. It's not anywhere. So no, we can't really review it.
I wonder why it's not on the network, because they work with
Japan. I think Japan probably has the rights to it. Well, like WWF,
probably right. Japan probably owns the rights to it. Yeah.
WWF also co-promoted some shows. They're not. You can't get them either in the '90s with some of the Japanese companies.
That's
like around bad. This time. So it is what it is. So we're not going to cover it. But
that's too bad, because once I looked this up, I got super excited that we're going to watch this, and then I go, wait a minute. I don't think this is the one we're going to be watching. I think it's our next one where just Fujinami's the only one there. So, all right, it is what it is. Match number 7, Stan Hansen versus Big Van Vader. And this is just, you talk about, if you like meat slapping matches, guys, and I know you all fucking do because everybody's jumps on that fucking bandwagon. But let me tell you, this is a good one. These guys hit fucking hard and nasty, gross as fucking Steve Hansen's got a big fucking thing of tobacco in his mouth. So there's tobacco everywhere. It's just falling all over the place, all over the fucking ring. Dusty Rhodes during this match, Jim Ross during this match, he goes, the referee looks like a boy because he's so small compared to these two guys, Vader and Hanson, and these guys look like men. And Dusty goes, they are men, big men, bad men, ugly men, vicious men. I love that. That was great. It was so fucking poetic.
Oh yeah, he was great. Yeah.
This is a crazy match. They were hitting each other with crates. They pick up like these fucking chairs. We're not talking like folding chairs. They look like school chairs, and they're fucking like throwing at each other. And they fucking throw the referee out. The ref has to call a DQ. This is just all over the place. Double disqualification. After they call it, they don't care. They keep fighting. Vader he flies from the fucking top rope. People are going like, holy shit, this is a big hoss fight. And they just fight their way to the back. It's just this is a fun match to me. How do you feel about this match?
I loved it. I thought it was great. This woke the pay-per-view up. Vader has it. He had it. Like it's just, so many boring matches and so many and then you just have this and this is what WCW should have been, just fucking violence and match and just work rate, and it was great. I thought it was great. I loved it. Vader is so good, man. Vader's so good.
You see, this is what I like about this pay-per-view is that we're getting all these different style matches. You know, we're getting the Joshi fucking tag team match. We're getting this hoss fight. We're getting the veteran versus the rookie. We're getting all these different types of matches in one card. And I love shows like that where there's different styles of matches all in this one place. So you're getting like a sampling of everything. So I really enjoyed this match. And I'm going to be honest, I enjoyed the match right after this as well. We're going to go to match number 8 is for the U.S. Championship. Lex Luger, the champion, versus Dangerous Dan Spivey, who looks like an uglier Steve Austin. Yeah. Spivey does this very unique move where he goes up on the top rope and then he does like a backwards elbow drop. Like most people go forwards and they fall, right? This guy goes like backwards and he falls with an elbow drop. Very weird looking, unique. But anyway, good back and forth match. And ultimately, Lex Luger starts hulking up. He hits a power slam, which gets his one lady in the audience get really excited. And then when she realizes the camera's on her, she gets all embarrassed that she got really excited about Lex Luger. But hey, you can't help it. Fans love Lex Luger. You can totally tell this match. They fucking love Lex Luger. Lex Luger goes up on top, and Dan Spivey grabs him to go for a slam, but Lex Luger just rolls through for the victory. What did you think of this championship match, Ray?
It was good. I didn't expect much from Dan Spivey because, he's been around for years, but, none of his matches really stand out. I thought this was pretty good for him. Of course, Lex always delivers. Was it one of Lex's best pay-per-view matches? No, but it was pretty good. And again, it was way better in some of the matches some of these great workers supposedly had, like Buddy Landell and Bobby Eaton. So I had a good time with it.
Yeah, I think this was actually a good showcase for both of them. You're right, it's not Lex Luger's best match, but this was a good showing for both guys. After the match, Tony Schiavone, he's with Grizzly Smith and Nikita Koloff, and they're presenting Lex Luger with a brand new U.S. title. He's still
Grizzly Smith got the 12-year-old he was fucking. So
what?
Grizzly Smith got the belt from the 12-year-old he was fucking.
He got his dick out of the 12-year-old, and he's just enough time to fucking present this title. And he's a champion, so they're giving him a brand new version of the title. It's like worth $40,000. And as Nikita is presented the belt to him, he clobbers Lex Luger with it, and he starts cutting a promo. And this would have been fine, except for that shitty fucking Russian accent. That sounds like a Russian accent to me.
When this guy started beating up
French. He sounds French to me, right? Oh, it's awful. Awful.
Dude, when he starts doing that fucking promo, I was just like, oh God, why is this guy back? What? Talk about someone. Let me tell you, the best thing about this journey was to see how much Nikita didn't have it versus how much Lex had it. Because for years I thought the opposite. And boy, was I wrong to think Nikita Koloff had anything resembling talent. What a fucking bum. Oh
Dude,
my-
it makes me think that WCW fans maybe were kind of stupid if they really believed this guy was Russian.
yeah. Or talented. I don't think this guy has
Yeah.
any talent whatsoever.
Yeah, he's mad at Lex, by the way, because Lex took the belt from him and he was out on injury or whatever. But it's just like it literally sounds like a French accent that's done with like Cookie Monster voice, like rah, 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 rah. But
It's like this. You know what makes it even more pathetic? The fact that this guy went and changed his name and would talk in this voice. It's like you went through all this, but you didn't even study a Russian accent. You just like made up an accent in your head
he didn't,
and then went around the world. You went to like your car dealership. You went to like the supermarket. You're like, let me get that cookies. So so remember people like, oh, he did this even in real life. Like, no, this guy's an idiot. Actually, this guy's a no talented moron and an idiot.
Yeah, it's you're right. He did everything but
Studying
everything but
Russian.
dedicating himself to this gimmick, like changing his name and everything, except for studying a Russian accent.
He got like Russian magazines delivered to his house, even so people would think he was Russian, but he didn't study the accent. He didn't like fucking watch. Can you watch one Russian movie? Like rent a Russian film and watch it, you fucking moron.
Yeah, it's terrible, dude.
And he was away for a year and didn't even think like, oh, maybe I should brush up my Russian accent because I sound nothing like a Russian.
You know, like what would be cool is if he even did start shouting Russian things while being up Lex, but he don't even do that. Like
no, because he's a moron.
Yeah, like during the middle of the promo, if he just started like cutting some shit in like Russian, like it could have been gibberish. We would have known. Just be like, holy shit, this guy's, like. But man, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Fucking gets me. And you know who annoys me? And everyone goes, what a genius he is. I think he's like the more I watch stuff, like Arn Anderson's the guy who like fucking annoys me. Because Arn Anderson was about how great Nikita Koloff was and how over he was, but don't shit on Ultimate Warrior. And I'm like, if you think Nikita Koloff is better than Ultimate Warrior, you don't know anything about wrestling, dude. You might be a moron. I don't trust anything you say. That's the fucking, if I'm hiring agents for WWE, who's a better worker, Nikita Koloff or Ultimate Warrior? And if they go Nikita Koloff, I'll be like, you're never working this business again.
I think that's very fair. If you're starting a wrestling company, I would legit go like.
That's the question.
If I was starting a wrestling company and I was hiring a producer and stuff, I would actually say, what is your job? Like, what is the number one thing you're supposed to be doing? And if it's like telling a great story in the ring, I'll be like, no, you're fired. I would be like, your job is to make me money, right? Yeah. Like that's your job is to make me money. And how are you gonna do that? You're like, oh, like telling the best stories in the ring. No, you need to tell the story that's gonna draw me the most money. I don't care if it's the best story or not. It's gotta be a story or a program that's gonna draw me the most amount of money. I don't care if the worst wrestler is in that match. If this guy draws the most money, you fucking put him in, Like that's how it should be. I feel like a lot of these WCW boys, you know what? The more I watch these, the more I think Kevin Nash and Scott Hall were right when they were shitting on these guys. Because remember when they were in WCW and afterwards, like right when it was over, they doing all these podcasts where they were like shitting on those guys, right? They may have been doing these podcasts even or doing these interviews while they were still in there. And I used to think they were so disrespectful, right? But the more I watch this, I'm like, no, I think they're right. Because like every time Kevin Nash goes like, the whole, I'm in the business trying to make money. And I'm like, yeah, he's right. Like what, he's actually right. Like, and
I just like.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Because he has a problem with these kind of guys, like Arn Anderson and stuff. Remember?
Yeah, Arn Anderson said he always felt like Vince thought he was a WCW guy, and then I hear Arn Anderson's opinions about like how bad. Oh, it's so horrible. The Bushwhackers are being the brain busters, and Ultimate Warrior is not that good. Oh, Nikita Koloff was great, and I'm just like, I understand why Vince didn't respect your opinion. I totally understand that.
I get it too. I get it too.
Yeah. I understand you liked what you like, but by 1990-91, it wasn't drawing, and you guys couldn't get out of your own way. That's why you're out of business.
It wasn't even drawing in the late 80s.
What? No, it wasn't. No.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, we've seen those numbers, and it wasn't drawing. Match number 9 is for the World Tag Titles. It is the Freebirds with Diamond Dallas Page and the Diamond Dolls versus the champions Doom with Theodore Long. DDP's on the mic. He's doing his Dusty Rhodes, and he brings out a special surprise guest, Big Daddy Dink. Good God. That's basically DDP's manager promo gimmick.
Yeah.
Good God. He says, good God a lot. Good God, it's Diamond Dallas Page. Good God, we're gonna be doomed. I got a little surprise for you. Good God, it's Big Daddy Dink. Good God. And Big Daddy Dink is not just a massive dink clown, which I thought it was gonna be. It's Sir Oliver Humperdinck. This guy never goes away.
No, it was like nobody asked for him. Like he brings them out like we're supposed to be like, oh, he's back, and it's just like, really, this guy?
Was he like a
dude,
dealer?
there's so many people in WCW nobody asked for, nobody wants to keep seeing, and they keep bringing them out. Like we actually like them. You know who, like, when we get there, you know who I thought was a huge detriment to like everyone? And then I'll listen to Eric Bischoff and Conrad talk and act like this guy is a fucking legend and he's the fucking Sonny Ono. Sonny Ono, I think, is one of the worst things to happen to WCW ever. He basically acts like a giant fucking stereotype. Remember he had the camera?
Yes.
And he's walking out Ultimo Dragon, who's like this supreme athlete, and he just drags the whole fucking thing down, just acting like an idiot outside. And Eric Bischoff and Conrad act like, oh, it wasn't it. He was like Bobby Heenan. No, he wasn't, dude. He was garbage. It's like nobody wants Oliver Humperdinck to come out. People just want to see Doom versus the Freebirds. And then here's this guy. What is he doing? Like, what? No, who wants this?
Was he like a drug dealer or something?
I think I know, like, he was really, you know what, that might be it. I think he.
Yeah, because like why? Because I'm trying to figure out why he's so popular. That like
not popular.
Clearly people in the back like him. That's why he's come back.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out what he can offer. He's not sexy. He's not like, I'm trying to think what he can offer.
Not good on the mic.
Yeah. I'm like, he must be offering them something.
I think it is. I think you're right. I think I remember Bruce Pritchard said something about him having the best weed. So you're right.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Anyway, Ron Simmons is already starting to look like real Ron Simmons. He is hitting hard as fuck on like Jimmy Jam Garvin, and
Michael Hayes.
Basically, what happens in this match is the referee gets distracted by our Oliver Humperdinck's body odor, and while the ref's distracted, Butch Reed, he gets some nuts from Theodore Long, and he tries to hit Michael Hayes, but Michael Hayes ducks. So he ends up hitting Ron Simmons, and Ron Simmons gets knocked out, and Jimmy Garvin covers him for the title change. As soon as the titles get changed, there were rumors that Doom was having problems, and they solidified it by Butch Reed and Theodore Long beating on Ron Simmons after this match. It looks like this team is over. What did you think about this match?
I liked the match. I thought the heel turn was a little rushed.
Yes.
It didn't feel natural. It felt like we have to get this done now and move on to the next segment. So it felt very rushed. That it literally went from friends to I'm gonna fucking murder you so fast. No build up. No, compare this turn to Virgil's turn, and I would say Butch Reed and Ron Simmons are way better workers than Virgil. The Virgil turn blows this away. I did not like the turn at all, and I thought it did a disservice to Doom. I thought it did a disservice to Ron Simmons and fucking Butch Reed. I thought it was not good at all.
You can't even compare the two, really.
It's fucking crazy. Like, this should have been a huge moment, and it's like, oh no, Butch Reed turned on Ron Simmons, and then they just move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it didn't feel real. It just felt like
this tag team deserves a little bit more respect than that. By the way.
Yeah, it's a tag team that I've had a great time watching them the last few weeks. I would have loved to have seen them go on and on for years.
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved to have seen them in WWE, and it's over, and it really, like, very disrespectful.
Yeah. So right after this match, Jim Ross and Dusty Rhodes, they're with the sweepstakes winner, little kid named Julian, and they're like, Julian, who do you love? in the war game so far. And Julian goes, Doom! Doom's my favorite in the war games. And then Jim Ross goes, I hate to break it to you, kid, but I don't know if you just saw it, but it looks like Doom's broken up. And then the kid goes, yeah. He gave some very sad yes. His face completely changed.
Mm-hmm.
They have to just move right along. This shit was
It's so fucking funny.
This show is so funny. There's so many stupid moments like this where I'm just like dying. It's just so fucking funny.
Doom! I love Doom. Dude!
Oh, I'm sorry to bring it to you, but it looks like Doom's over. And the kid's like, yeah.
I bet you Jim Ross is in his head being like, we still could have made money out of Doom, and these idiots broke them up.
Yeah, they 100% could have. 100% could have.
You know what they should have done? You know what they didn't do before breaking them up? I just realized they never really did a Doom face run. That would have been great.
Yeah, they really didn't. They weren't really full faces because they had that stupid ass Peter Law going like,
we don't play that. Yeah, you want to turn face? We don't play that. Okay, great. Good job.
Peter Law, what do you think about the chances of Doom retaining the title? Hope we don't play that.
Did I imagine it? Maybe I imagined it. Was he yelling "Homie don't"? I thought he yelled "Homie don't play that" at Ron Simmons when they were turning off. That's serious. Homie don't.
He might have. Dude, it was just. Oh my god!
There's so many moments. You're right. Who's your favorite? Doom. Oh, they just broke up.
Yeah, they go. Yeah, they just broke up. Didn't you see it?
Moment, but then like there's so many moments where like you just see like this. No one knows what they're doing. No one knows what they're doing. But then these guys who go on these podcasts 30 years from now and talk about how fucking smart they are. Oh. It's really fucking funny.
It almost reminds me of. Did you ever watch that movie Semi Pro with Will Ferrell? It's like it's almost like that where they're just like winging it. So because they're just winging it, this random shit just happens. Like they go, "We'll bring a bear into the arena," and people want to see the bear, and then the bear like nobody moves. Right? It's like, all right. So they show the Horsemen beating up on Brian Pillman, right? And how Brian Pillman's injured. He was injured, but he's still gonna fucking wrestle tonight. And they bring down the cage, and it's got lots of fireworks. And Tony Schiavone starts going over the rules of the War Games, which I think is very well. I thought it was very well done. And we're gonna go to our final match, our 10th and final match is the War Games match. We got the Horsemen of Sid Vicious, Barry Windham, and Flair, and Larry Zbyszko. Arn Anderson will be there, but he's not going to be wrestling. I'm guessing Arn is injured.
Yeah, he's injured too.
Okay. Dave will be facing Sting, the Steiner brothers, and I guess making his main event debut in a pay-per-view, Brian Pillman.
Yep.
Right? This was kind of fun seeing him in the main event. So Pillman and Windham, they start the match. I'm just going to be talking about what happens, and you could chime in anytime you want, Ray, okay?
Okay.
So Brian Pillman's left shoulder is all taped up, but it is only for decoration purposes because this guy fucking no-sells anything. He's like dangling off the cage. He's taking fucking shoulder tackles on the left arm. It's not affecting him at all. Barry Windham bleeds right away, by the way. Just bloody mess right away.
Great blade job by Barry Windham.
Yeah. It was very quick. And he was all over the place, yeah. It was like nasty looking. Flair comes in next, and then Pillman is a great moment where Pillman goes toe-to-toe with Ric Flair, which is really fun to watch because, Pillman's like pretty much at this point still kind of like a rookie, right? And Flair is the man, so it's kind of fun. They start double teaming Pillman until Sting comes in. Then Larry Zbyszko comes in, and then Rick Steiner, and Rick Steiner gets fucking Flair to start bleeding. And then Sid Vicious comes in, and lastly, Scott Steiner. Now everybody is in. You enjoying the match so far?
I really like this match. I remember hearing that this and 92 were the height of the War Game matches in terms of work rate and excitement. And this was probably my favorite War Games match I've seen so far.
It was, but it also wasn't without its funny spots, like the one coming up next. The camera does a close-up of Sid Vicious and Rick Steiner, and you can clearly not only hear them, but you can also see Sid Vicious going, "Are you okay?" And Rick Steiner goes, "Yeah." And Sid goes, all right, let's go. And they go right to the next spot. It's fucking clear as day. You could hear it and see it.
I didn't see
You
that.
put on closed caption and the fucking words come up.
I love they did that on purpose, WWE. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's so fucking funny. I fucking died laughing at that. They do this cool spot in this match where all the good guys they put figure fours on all the heels. Crowd fucking loves it. The ceiling of the cage though is very low.
Yeah.
It is very low, and this is gonna cause lots of problems. But this is how low it is. There's a point where Sting is gorilla pressing Flair, and he's just like bouncing him off the top of the cage because it's so low. That's how low the fucking ceiling is. And this is the part that comes off that's kind of scary. Sid gives Brian Pillman a power bomb, but because the ceiling is so low and because Sid is so tall, when he's picking up Brian Pillman can't fully rotate because his feet hit the top of the fucking cage. And when he comes down for the power bomb, he almost like lands on his fucking head. It looks really, really bad.
That was meant to be the spot.
Oh, really? Because it looks devastating. But anyway, Sid picks him up again, and he does another powerbomb, this time a safer powerbomb, which still looks devastating. This pretty much is taking out Pillman, and this fucking pisses off Elegante, who comes running down here, rips off the door, checks on Pillman, and then he basically goes to the referee like, no more, he's done. So the referee calls off the match because Pillman, he can't continue. He's knocked out. So the heels win this match, and Elegante picks up Pillman, and he carries him off as the match is over.
I thought everything Elegante did at the end of this match was pretty good. He showed seemed like he was concerned for Brian. I mean, like, you give the guy little things. He's not completely incompetent, which is,
If you're telling me that powerbomb was supposed to look like that, I'm going to say this is one of the best endings to a war game I've ever seen.
It was very
I remember believable. He looks like he got really fucked with that powerbomb. And this is when you should stop it. Like, dude, one guy is seriously hurt, and Jelly got to coming and being like, yeah, I agree with you. I thought it was very well done. At the end of this match, Jim Ross and Dusty Rhodes, they invite the referee, Nick Patrick, and they go, why'd you stop it? And Nick Patrick goes, dude, I had to stop it. Pillman couldn't answer for himself. He was unconscious. I don't care what people say. I am standing by my ruling, dude. He was unconscious. I had to make the right call. And I like that they did this because it really puts a lot of credibility into like this ending, And
also, like, the war game match is a match where you could get so injured that they have to just stop the match.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
Not like a regular match. You could and they end the show with like maybe Pillman's career is over. Like, we don't really know. It could be it.
Yes, that's how they should have ended it. But in typical WCW fashion, they have some time to kill. So Jim Ross goes, guys, also, we had some shit happen with Lex Luger and Nikita Cross. Let me show you guys. Oh, actually, never mind. We don't have the tape ready. Sorry, guys. That's exactly how the fucking show ends.
Wow.
I had to laugh at that. It's so funny, dude.
I love this match. And I'll tell you what I like about WCW's war game matches and also WCW's multi-person matches, because WWF doesn't do this. Everyone is kind of off having their own match, and you as the viewer get to choose what like fight you want to watch. I feel like the problem with whether it's elimination chamber matches or whether it's their version of war games, it's everyone lies around while 2 or 3 guys do a spot, and then other guys get up and do a spot, and then other guys get up and do a spot. It never feels like there's 8 guys or 16 guys battling for battling at once, And I like the fact in this war games match, there's 4 matches happening in front of you, and the strategy is maybe Ric Flair could brutalize Scott Steiner so much he gives up. So Rick Steiner, Sting, and Brian Pillman, they got to keep their eyes on the other matches. Like, hey, is Scott Steiner getting beat up too much? I better go over there and help him. Or the same with the 4 Horsemen. Is Larry Zbyszko getting beat up too much? Like, there's a strategy there. Brian Pillman bludgeoning Barry Windham early. It's like, I want this guy hurt now. So by the time the match officially begins, Barry Windham's like, I don't want it anymore because I've been beating the shit out of him for like 10 minutes. And I like that. So I really like this match. I feel like it's a lost art having war game matches like this. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think when you have it like that too, when they had that abrupt ending, some of the guys were like looking around when they did they kind of panned out. You see some of the guys in the match going like, "What? Why is it over?" You know, like because they're not all having the same match. They're off doing their own thing. So when they're like hear their bell, they're like, "Why is it over?" They don't even realize Pillman was fucking knocked out like that.
And that's the thing. You can argue that the Sting's team lost because they didn't have good teamwork. So it's like if you were paying attention to Brian Pillman, you could have stopped that second powerbomb. Like you maybe could have won the match. So like there's like strategy, and the announcers can. I don't remember if the announcer played into that, but like maybe like on a follow up, you'd be like, you know what, Sting, if you would and the Steiners work together better, you could have beat the Horsemen, but they're too much of a unit, even with Larry Zbyszko. I don't know. I don't like the WWE, and they're never going to change at this point, where it's chaos for like the first 30 seconds, and then everyone's laying around while people do spots. I don't like it. It doesn't feel like a real fight. This feels like a real fucking fight. Like 8 guys are just fighting.
I, for one, actually don't enjoy these type of BMX matches to begin with. When when NXT brought it back, there was like a long, huge gap, right, for them having this kind of War Games match. It was great. So I was excited for the first one. I do not like that they have one every year. I don't like that. I think that's kind of dumb. So you guys can tell I'm not a fan of this, but with that being said, I would say this War Games match, I agree, it was done very well.
I heard the War Games peaks. The next year's War Games match was Dangerous Alliance versus Sting Squadron. That is supposedly the best match in WCW history, and there's never been a War Games match than that. So Wrestlewar 92. Everyone that I know has seen that match talks about it like it's one of the best things I've ever seen. And that happens in a year.
You're building it up like Jade Cargill. I'll see what happens.
Yeah. So, but then I watched it a few years ago. I really do like the 96 War Games, which is NWO versus the Horsemen and Sting and Luger. That was a good War Games match. And then the last 2 War Games matches are atrocious, but we'll get there. 98 and 2000 are.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Well, we're not going to see 2000 was on a Nitro, so we're not going to see it.
Oh, you know why I don't like the NXT War Games too much is because like not only do you have it once a year, you have it 2 a year. You know?
Yeah.
Because there's 2. There's a women's and a men, and it's like not unique, and like you have Money in the Bank, you have Elimination Chambers. It's like there's too many. There's just too many.
Well, I have a feeling we're gonna see War Games. I have a feeling we're gonna have a War Games match at a Survivor Series. So
yeah, we're gonna have
Judgment Day versus Jey Uso and Sami's team.
Yeah. I probably true.
But all in all, I thought this was a really good Wrestlewar. The last half of the show is way better than the first half, except for the tag match. The tag match was awesome. It's a very interesting show. It's a very WCW show. It is like it's fun to talk about. I have a feeling this is gonna be a fun year to be in. Like to talk.
Is like it's like one of those like if you're staying at home on a rainy day and you got nothing to do and you want to watch just some classic WCW, this is one of those things you can put on. You're gonna laugh. Some stuff you're gonna be watching is good, and some stuff is gonna be bad. But I think it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So next week it is WrestleMania 7, Ultimate Warrior versus Macho Man, and then we have Hulk Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter. In 2 weeks, Super Bowl 1, the Steiners versus Sting and Lex Luger, and Ric Flair versus Tatsumi Fujiwani. Then in 3 weeks, we have UWF Beach Brawl. I don't know the fucking matches. Cactus Jack is in it somehow, and Paul Orndorff. I don't know if they're wrestling each other, but they're on the card. Then in 4 weeks, the Great American Bash 91, featuring Barry Windham versus Lex Luger and Sting versus the One Man Gang. Main event anywhere. I know. That's the show where Ric Flair's no shows and the company and then WWE.
Have to call an audible or something.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Ric Flair versus Lex for the belt, and when he quits, it's Lex versus Barry Windham. What are you looking forward to?
One Man Gang was always
Yeah, that was always in Sting's future. Yeah.
okay.
What card are you looking? What show are you looking forward to most?
Well, I'm actually looking forward to Fujinami versus Ric Flair, but I'm not exactly excited for the whole card. I just want to watch that one match. I'm not looking forward to this.
Steiner's versus
this. Wait, was I Steiner's what?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Steiner's versus Sting and Lex won the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Match of the Year in 1991. So.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see how that is. I'm not looking forward to WrestleMania 7. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's a better show than 6 and 5.
Oh, okay. All right.
There's actually some pretty good. I'm not gonna tell you what they are because I want you to watch. I want you to be surprised. But right off the top of my head, I can name 4 matches that have really 5 actually that have really good work rate. And no, 4 that have really good work rate.
Someone told me WrestleMania 17 is the best WrestleMania of all time.
I would say yes if the main event didn't have that stupid fucking finish with Vince and Austin being friends.
Yeah, I see.
I think that kind of ruined the company for a while. But I would say 17. It's hard to say what the best WrestleMania is. Right now I still think it's 3, but 7 is better than 6. Like I realized, like looking back, and we'll talk about this more next week. 7 has some matches with that are pretty. That are the work rate's pretty good, and you'll see who it is.
Yeah, I'm looking at the card. All right, you know what it is? I'm just thinking about like the marquee match, right? That's all I'm thinking about. The main event. I'm like, I'm not really looking forward to that.
The main event is like the least of her. Like a lot of fun stuff happens for that main event. But yeah, that's not a good main event. But
yeah,
what
are you looking forward to? Actually, let me ask you, what are you looking forward to?
Beach Brawl, because I want to see what that company was like.
I see.
I've never seen a second of that company, and I want to see what they have in store for me. I'm not really looking forward to the Great American Bash 91, but we're gonna cover it. And yeah, so that's our next 4 weeks. Okay, guys, if you are enjoying the show, please subscribe. Please comment on our YouTube page, or comment, or write us a review, or send us an email. I'm Ray Goots on Twitter. I'm Ray Goots on Instagram. I'm Ray Goots Comedy on TikTok. Andrew Libro, where will you be? Will you be in the baddie section?
Follow this. I'm gonna be in the baddie section with Sunny Kiss. They should hire Sunny Kiss too, by the way. Yeah, at this point.
They should hire Sunny Kiss.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's it. With Jade Cargill for life, and we will talk to you next week for WrestleMania 7.
Bye.
Bye, Bruce.